system here is an interesting system, the ahupua, and it's doubly interesting now because these fish ponds were the first mariculture. Everybody did aquaculture. China did aquaculture, Japan, Rome, Europe. Everybody did aquaculture. So everybody was raising food in fresh water. So nobody was raising food in salt water. And I think raising fish in brackish water, from what I know, Hawaii was the first. So in order to do that, you had to do herbivores. Everybody understand herbivores, carnivores? So herbivores was what Hawaiians used in this system. So that meant the food would have to come from the existing system. The supplement food was very little. Most of the food was grown in the system itself. And then the only trick was to keep that system balanced. So you don't grow too much fish where there's no food, too much food where it gets contaminated and whatever. You have to be balanced. So the whole system was based on that balance.
And that's the part that's missing nowadays. Oh, look, that place is productive. Let's harvest it, eat it, sell it. What do we put back? Organic farming makes more sense to us, makes total sense to us, because you're feeding the land. Yeah, you're feeding the land. That's why you're going to be able to harvest from the land. The thing makes sense. And from what Kalaniwa was telling me when he took this permaculture class, our kupuna, our style of land, ocean management was like the second best on the planet. How come we not teaching everybody to do that? Where that went? How we lost them? Yeah? All those answers is easy. You can just go look, you can look around. Military bases. Schools that don't teach Hawaiian. So now everybody trying to teach us. When in fact we should be saying, Bada, there is nobody on the planet except one people that know how better to use what they get. We might not know how to use the Rocky Mountains, but over here, from mountain to sea, from the center of the earth to the top of the stars, we know the best over here. So that's where we trying to get back to, yeah? That's why, hey, we aloha permaculture. Wow, that sound Hawaiian. That is Hawaiian. Why? Because it's holistic. Everything off of each other. Not separated or like, I'm going to make one thing plenty. We never used to do that. So now, we're on a mission for find how do we, as Hawaiians, adapt and evolve. So the saying over here is makahanakaike. In the doing, come the learning, come the knowledge.
The most important part of a Hawaiian fish pond is the fresh water. The freshwater source, when spring, when river outlet, or some sort of freshwater source. That's the beginning of the fish pond. Without this whole system wouldn't work. Without fresh water, wouldn't work. Okay. So right here is our water kind. We call them our pua pond, or pua is on the baby fish. This is where they come for eat. So basically we on spring in here, you can mix with the salt water, brackish water, get the microorganisms that grow in that water that the fish eat at this cycle of their life. So how we use this is we just open this gate right here, and the fish smell the water and they all come in here, and usually we block off the gate with fine mesh, the plastic mesh netting, and we supplement feed them for a little while, and they eat off whatever natural, and we just give them a little bit of feed maybe once a week before, and we'll get them to a certain size, and then we'll open that and they'll go out and they'll grow out inside of this other pond.
And before we go there, if you look at this, this is a complete miniature of this. Not exactly the same makahas, but the same idea. A little bit more background on Hawaiian fish ponds. There's 5 different types. Okay? And we're going to start from the top of the mountain down to the sea. So the first one up on the top of the mountain is a moloka'i, a freshwater pond. we make lo'is or rice patties. Yeah. So instead of making a lo'i or a patty that is for taro, the Hawaiians would just make one, dig them out a little bit deeper, make one pond, local way. They would take a lot of the silver fish that you see around here can get acclimated to fresh water because a lot of them as babies grow up in brackish water. So if you get them at the right time, you can take them up and you can grow them up in the mountains. The second fish pond was the moloka'i kalo. Same thing like the moloka'i, but would be a little bit shallower with mounds of taro growing in them. Around these mounds would be a little bit deeper pockets where you get taro and fish. Right? So he's like, oh, I like that one. Yeah. And you grow my kalo, the kalo leaf, feed the fish doo-doo, feed the kalo. I mean, wow, now we're getting, we like try and do that one again. There is no moloka'i kalo anymore right now. Next one coming down is the local pu'u'one. Some places on the island, our kupuna just use the geography of the island for make the best possible pond. So local pu'u'one is now, we get roads. But before, used to have ponds that are on the inside of the sand beach. Yeah, the sand beach, say on the inside. And the sand beach became the wall for the pond. Pu'u'one means sand wall. Okay, so that was the third. The fourth was an ume'iki. What ume'iki is a pond with plenty gates. Ume'iki could be used by anybody.
Yeah. There wasn't a pond where you grow out your fish, was this a trap. Usually it was on small, on less than 1 acre, most of them. And wouldn't be where it had fresh water, so the fish would just come in during the change of tides and you'd use them just for catch them.
Yeah.
You never grow out nothing in them, so it was more of a trap and less of one.
Families and different people in the community could go use the different gates. And an ume'iki is unique because it has a lot of gates. It ain't trying to hold nothing. Just trying to get them for go in these places where they can try and catch them. The last one, what we're at, what is most famous Hawaiian invention is the local kuapa. This is a kuapa. Kuapa. You guys can say that.
Kuapa.
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 Yeah. That's the ocean wall. That's what we're experts at. Us you guys, we're experts at building ocean wall. And on kuapa, this is managed by the guardians, by the caretakers. And this is for the ali'i and this community. This not to be shared with the next land division or the next one. Unless we're going to barter and trade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? This is the ice box for this place. Yeah? This only get so much gates. There's not a lot of gates like an ume'iki. This one is more controlled, and through the gates you get way more ocean and water transfer on the tides. Looks like a river.
So
and the makaha
opening
is the eye that breathes. We call them a gate today, but the makaha is a makaha. And that happens every time the tide go low and high. The eye of the fish pond breathe. And in this current exchange, this is when the recruitment, like Kalaniwa said, fresh water going out, all the little fish just like that coming in. They're looking for them. Because we cannot see them, but all the phytozooplankton, the microscopic organisms, they're going just like on river. They don't have to move or chase them. They just
sit in the current and they just eat.
Open their mouth. No, and the opposite effect happens when the ocean come in. When high tide, the breeders or the mature ones, they go straight to that same river-like action, right to the maka.
So you can easily selective harvest them.
Yeah. So you recruit and you harvest. Same place. Whole pond. You only go to the gates.
Yeah. That was the good thing about them. Like, even though we get 50 acres here, for manage them, all I gotta be is at one of these gates, and I can tell pretty much what's happening in my pond. That's how we used to manage them. We used to have, like I said, when we had the fences up, we would catch fish in traps. A fish coming in and going out, and then you examine them. If they're fat and they're going out, that means your pond healthy. But if they're going out and they're all skinny and sickly, that means you don't have enough grass or feed in your pasture. And then you would know, oh man, I get too much fish. I gotta let them all out. No more enough food in here. And the same coming in, we would say, oh, this one get eggs or this one gets sperm, you see all our fish, a big mullet. And then you know, oh, this is the breeding season. Okay, let them in. And maybe on the way out, you look, oh, they power breed. Okay, now maybe we can harvest a couple females and a couple males for eat. So that's how the pond works. So this pond is Calvanui Pond. It's about 54 acres. And right now it's owned by Kamehameha Schools. And Kamehameha Schools is one of the few places in the state that owns from the top of the mountain. This whole Ahupua is all Kamehameha Schools. So we lease them from them. If you guys go to other ponds, right there, the mangrove, oh, they're still in the stone ages of thinking and they like wipe out the mangrove. Well, if you work long enough, actually work in the pond and you're not some scientist who just spend 1 week in there, write up your paper and everybody think that's the Bible of fish ponds. You're going to know that the mangrove is actually pretty good if you keep them under control. The thing is a whole new environment for the little fish, yeah? Because on these flats, the little fish no place for hide. But when you walk in the mangrove on high tide, oh, that's where they go. This is the new environment, eh?
Because this works, bro, for our animals.
Yeah. For the guys who are trying to catch them, maybe no work because it's impossible for net fish in a mangrove area. But for the fish itself, this is good. So everybody else knocking down the mangrove and we're the only guys. We learned from the tsunami. Wherever had mangrove on the wall never fall down because a mangrove is like glue, nature's glue. So everybody else knocking down the mangrove and we actually planting the mangrove. So every time people come to our pond, they blow their minds and we tell them we're going out there and we're going to plant mangrove.
Well, and because I would rather, you know, plant and create one living wall that I go maintain instead of every tsunami. And my baby is only 2 years old and she saw 2 already. Every tsunami, I'm going to have to go there and fix the whole freaking thing. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't mind doing patchwork. But we don't like do this every time. Oh, we came what? 1,100 feet already in 6 months. 3 guys. We right there. All we gotta do is get to this wall and finish that side.
And that's what we're gonna do today. You guys are gonna realize that working in the water is 10 times as hard as doing anything on the land. So building wall on land is real easy.
Super easy.
But when you get out here, it's a whole nother monster. So today, what we're gonna have you guys do, because the tide kinda alright, part of us can use that float and we're gonna get all the leftover rocks that was left behind along the wall. We're gonna load them on the float and we're gonna float them to the end of this, the part we're working on, and we're gonna unload them and use their rocks for build the wall up.
He said this, okay? And if you look, you wouldn't really consider sitting on rock like that, but you get one face, and back here, if you set on them, you get the angle. The face, the angle. And solid. Face, angle. The strongest sets are like this. 2 rocks. Yeah, this one rock touching 2 of these rocks. Okay? You don't like one rock just on one rock, not touching anything else.
Yeah.
And the thing not solid, the thing not sealed in the wall. Like this one, 1, 2, 3. 3 rocks touching this one, yeah? This one's solid.